La la la. My name is Matt and this is Zeb and we are DJ in the fridge. You're not talking to test your level, by the way.
Oh, talk.
You remember?
Hey, this is Zeb.
Come on, Mr. Director.
I've got a lot of interesting things to say. This won't be awkward or boring at all.
Oh boy, we're in for it.
It's okay. They hold me responsible if it is. It's okay.
That's okay. We're very boring people. We have nothing interesting to say.
All right, good. Well, this will be a 3 boring people podcast. Very exciting for everybody involved.
Worst case scenario, my stomach's making lots of noises, so we might get a lot of that.
Nice.
That's going to be wonderful.
And sorry, what's your name again?
Jason.
Jason.
Yes.
Okay. And this is your podcast?
It is.
Great.
Yes.
Everybody's got drinks. I feel
So
left
who's
out.
they?
They, the few people who listen to this podcast.
Okay, gotcha. That'll be your fault.
Yeah. All right. So, I don't know what I'm going to do.
That's okay. It's all winging it.
Yeah,
We're going to wing it.
This is a Comedy on Vinyl podcast with me, Matt Senreich, and I did pronounce it correctly, please. Or is it?
I never correct people when they say my name.
Tell me.
Yes.
My last name is Klamm, and everybody says Klamm.
Okay, that's not bad. I say Senreich.
Senreich.
Yeah.
See, I'm an asshole.
No, it's okay. I think my dad says something different, so it's all okay.
Okay.
I'm a very fucked up family. Am I allowed to curse on this?
Oh yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
If I am.
Yep, that's a big part of it.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. I rarely curse too.
And I also have Zeb Wells with me.
Hello.
I said all that correctly.
That's an easy one to say.
It
yes.
is. Seems to be.
Definitely.
So
Jason, what are we doing here?
Well,
we're
here
to,
first of all,
break it down for your listeners.
Zeb doesn't understand what a podcast is.
Okay. Well, a podcast. We're here to talk a little bit about Robot Chicken.
Oh boy. Okay.
But the premise of it is that one or two of you may or may not like comedy albums of some kind. Now, and it's fine. We have people come on who just pick a favorite comedian and blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to have you rapid fire name some albums that you love.
Name some albums that I love.
Yep, and let's see.
pressure.
And then you can just pop in if there's somebody you like. And if not,
okay, well, I guess the biggest ones would be, when I was a kid, it was Bill Cosby. I believe it was a greatest hits album. I've seen like the best of Bill Cosby.
Sure.
That was good because your parents didn't mind if you were listening to Bill Cosby.
Absolutely.
So you could, but he's a great comedian, so you learn a lot, but
of course
you're allowed to do it. So I listened to that over and over again, and then I guess in college, the big ones for me were Adam Sandler, They're All Gonna Laugh at You, which I stand behind. I think that's a classic. I just listened to it. It came up on my iPod, and I listened to the whole thing. I think it stands up. I think it's that was very influential to me. And then one that I had to make myself because I can't find it was Richard Pryor live in concert.
I saw that on HBO when it was on when I was young, and it changed me for sure.
Which one? Now, which one?
He's in a red shirt.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
It's completely sweat through by the end. And I think it was the first time I'd heard a black man use the N-word confidently and take it back. That was the first time I had heard that, which blew me away. But then he's also doing funny animal voices. He tells many stories about his dog from his dog's point of view. No one does a white man like Richard Pryor. If I could listen to him.
Richard Pryor was just like quintessential inspiration. Like, again, it's like even just beyond just comedy album, like his movies with Gene Wilder to this day are the things that I watched growing up, laughing more than I ever should.
Sure.
And I don't know how my parents let me watch these things in any way, shape, or form, because I do remember my parents taking me to, seeing a bunch of their stuff and not understanding why. It just made for uncomfortable business. I'm surprised you didn't mention like a Seinfeld album of some sort.
Well, I think I came to know Seinfeld from the television show, and
I still remember his HBO comedies. That's where I watched all of it.
That.
He did like, it was like a young comedian's comedy special, and it had like Jerry Seinfeld, a guy named Bob Nelson, who did like this football like a whole presentation about a guy, like every player on the football team, and he just did it. And then there was oh my gosh, I'm blanking on his name now. Oh, this is gonna kill me. I'll remember it in a little bit, but it was just like an all-star roster of people.
Were you like watching the young comedians specials and things like that? Okay. Exactly.
That's the type of stuff that I loved and I watched a lot of. But again, it was HBO that introduced me to all these things, like more so than like listening to actually the comedy records.
The comedy albums. Yeah, and I can't find that Richard Pryor live in concert on DVD or like it's a digital download.
Wow.
And in college I couldn't find it either, so I had made a cassette tape of it. I had recorded it off of like a VHS copy, and I listened to it. I wish I could find that because it is hilarious.
Did either of you make friends over comedy as kids? Was it like, I mean, if it's an album, it's one thing you can pass around or sit and listen to people deliberately with. If it's a show, you might go to school and talk about it the next day, or you know what I mean?
Right? Yeah.
For me, it was always like the late night sleepovers that I had with friends where we'd sneak into like the family room and watch HBO when we weren't supposed to.
That's awesome.
We were probably, I would say it was never like, for some reason when I was a kid at school, I was the awkward kid who didn't talk to many people. So, I wouldn't say it necessarily bothered me until I was much older and could talk about these people and we're doing what we're doing and, you know, talking about the people or bringing in the people that inspire us to actually be on the show.
Me and my roommate in college, I remember when he first moved in, I came in, it was like the first week. I came in, he wasn't there. And I saw that he had a big container of cookies, and so I was like, he's not here. He's not gonna miss a couple of cookies. So I go over and I start just bombing these cookies. And as I'm doing that, I see the covers on his bed start to rustle, and he looks up. He had stayed home sick from school. And my mouth was just full of his cookies, and I just had to say, "Hey, dude!" I was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, just eating some cookies. You can't do anything at that point besides just say, "I'm just eating your cookies." Replace the lid and walk out of there. Yeah. But he was the one. He was around later, and I think I had brought home that Richard Pryor special, and we'd watched it 4 or 5 times. So me and him bonded over that. That was our album for that year. For sure. We listened to it going to bed. We listened to it all the time.
Was it one of those things you were ever comfortable quoting and then later realized in life maybe that was a mistake? Or some people, I get a lot of those stories.
Yeah. Well, it's bad because, there are some bits that are so good. But I guess when I was young, it was always Bill Cosby.
That's fine,
it was fine,
of course.
So, no, I was always old enough. I had a very well-developed sense of shame and deceit when it came to my parents. Like, I knew early on, they made it very clear that that they didn't like anything like that. So I was always very aware of what I was allowed to say around people.
That's good. Do you remember the first comedy album you ever listened to, period, or no?
I think it had to have been that Bill Cosby album for sure.
Do you know which one?
It was that great. It was. I bet I could look it up.
Or was it?
I think it was the best of Bill Cosby.
Oh, okay.
I just bought it. You know, it's got like the Noah's Ark stuff on it.
Yeah.
It's got him coming home from the movie, the scary movie, and he's talking about his feet going up ahead of him.
Fantastic.
Like what was great about him is a lot of his bits are just he was such a good storyteller. Sure. So a lot of his comedy was just him telling funny stories very well, which I think is a great skill to learn. You could tell by how hilarious that cookie story was.
Yeah, it was great. It was well delivered.
Very.
I don't see how exactly it tied into the bigger picture of it.
Because there was a
bonding
schism,
experiment.
There was a schism, and then we bonded.
Okay, got it.
I didn't get the connective tissue there though.
It's okay. It worked out pretty well.
Do you remember the first special you watched? The first time you were aware that comedians were a thing?
I mean, those HBO comedy specials, the young comedians ones, were the ones that were always on. I mean, they repeated them probably 1,000 times, sure. and HBO just embedded anything that they put on TV just into your brain that way. I mean, even going back before that, probably the earliest stuff that I listened to is probably the Weird Al parody stuff. You know, like I would say that was like the early age that I was doing that with, and you know. I would just listen to that on repeat. I like that better than the regular songs.
Of course.
You know, because I don't think I even understood the actual lyrics of the real songs.
No.
But I could appreciate that. And then, you know, it all led to, you know, eventually UHF coming out, which I thought was like the second coming.
Of course.
And and then I was just infatuated with Weird Al for a very long time.
As you should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out the lyrics to Beat It. Legitimately, but I know all of them to Eat It.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny growing up with MTV. I feel like a lot of people watched MTV. Our family watched it just because I think everyone was still, wondering what videos were. Mm-hmm. And then when all of a sudden it turned, there was a funny video on, it was Weird Al's Eat It.
Yeah.
Your brain just kind of lit up, and you're like, oh, this is so much better than a regular video. It's like the song's just as good, but he's not taking himself so seriously. There's something charming about it.
It was pop candy in so many ways, and also, like, in a lot of cases, brilliant satire. Segue to your show, only because, like, it does make me think, when I think of Weird Al, I do think of instantly of bright colors and of pop and but satire at the same time, like this underlying, he refuses to accept that he's got a dark side, but there's a lot of darkness to it. You guys might wear it more on your sleeve on the show, but I mean, do you ever notice, like, specific influences coming out? I mean, besides the obvious pop culture references, but specific comedic. Yeah,
I mean, it was very flattering. I think it was our second season. Al actually reached out to us to do a music video for him for Weasel Stomping Day.
Yeah.
And we were really confused why he was reaching out. It wasn't even a possibility that something like that would happen. And we ended up becoming friends with him from that. And we just had a wonderful experience working with him. And, even in White and Nerdy, Seth has the brief cameo in that. And all the action figures that he ends up using are all of my action figures in the back wall for that, which we helped set dress with him and for the, 5-second shot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's, as far as, influences and stuff like that, yeah, I mean, you can see with, we're all over the map with the stuff that we're putting on. Like, again, with musical comedy, I think that's coming more so in our more recent seasons, where we have artists like Rachel Bloom, who's amazing, and Eric Weiner. They do a lot of that stuff for us. And then, I would say everybody else just kind of draws upon their own personal influences, and that's why that writer's room works so well, is everybody comes from a different background. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is it for you that, I mean, is it bite-sized by necessity for the most part? Because there are very few sketch shows I've ever seen that can pull off a one-line sketch. And to spend all the time to animate it is...
Well, I mean, I wish there was more brilliance to the concept of it. I mean, we always wanted it to be ADD TV. That was really what the idea of it was. Yeah. It was, a sketch comedy show using action figures, and the very first note we got in our first season from Mike Lazo, the head of the network, was make the long sketches shorter and the short sketches a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And so we went from the 3-second shot to about 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. We went from the 4-minute sketch to 2 to 3 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I think that helped balance out the show pretty well.
Yeah.
And then it's really, we just don't want to stay on anything for too long, because if you get bored, we don't want someone to flip the channel. We're on to the next sketch.
Of course.
Which, again, I always say there's 25% of this show that I hate because I didn't vote for it to get in the show, but I was outvoted, in the room.
Mm-hmm.
What's good about writing on the show is that a lot of times you discover as you start writing, you have a funny idea, and then you get to let that idea tell you how long it needs to be. I feel like a lot of shows where you would have to fill a certain amount of time just for production reasons, which frankly we should probably do.
Of course.
But we don't, which is great. We let the idea, if the idea is only worth having around for 10 seconds, we figure out what the idea is, we chuckle, we get out of there.
Yeah.
There's no imperative to stretch it out if it doesn't need to. But then if an idea can handle that, we're allowed to stretch that out to a 2 or 3 minute sketch, which is great. So everything is only as long as it needs to be.
Yeah. And I'm finding as the seasons go on, we compress things a lot more. I was actually I turned on the TV last night, and it was an old episode. It was we did a V sketch with and it was with all
it's interminable. It's so long.
It's so long. And I still found myself laughing at it, but there were these long pauses between the lines of dialogue, which we would never do now.
Right.
It's really rapid fire on top of each other, because I think and again, it sounds so old for me to say, but I think we're in this day and age where the internet has made everything so much faster with Vine and just the Instagram video and stuff like that. It's so fast paced, and you have to get something out so quickly that it just feels long when you have those pauses now. It's just different. It's weird to watch earlier seasons because it's so different than we would do it now.
Yeah, but you guys still have a taste for the older slower storytellers, maybe, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, and I just wonder. I mean, I think people probably assume if they see your work or see this as all of your work, which it really, you know, you can't really consider one show as all of somebody's work, that all of your influences must be similar. I mean, did you have any more frenetic influences that...
Gosh, I mean, for me, there's a reason why Seinfeld speaks. I mean, they say it in the show. It's a show about nothing. The reason I like Seinfeld, and, you know, I even like, it's Kevin Smith also. You know, it's, I think what we do, and we just went one step further than what Kevin Smith went, in the sense of we take those surreal experiences and make them mundane. Kevin Smith just talked about those surreal experiences and projected what his thoughts about them were.
Sure.
We just are doing it with toys, so we actually get to act them out. So I think that's what, you know, I've totally lost my train of thought with that. But yeah, it's just, I think that's how those influences come across.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if we have any frenetic influences or...
No, it's...
Yeah,
maybe some of our actors end up coming in and, you know, reading lines of dialogue in ways in which they were inspired.
Sure.
Yeah, but otherwise, it's just we're all over the map. Again, it's
good.
Yeah.
I think it's just being paranoid and or critical of yourself and thinking, well, if this isn't funny... I mean, I think The Room has been great for me as a writer over the years, because if something isn't funny or just mildly unamusing, it's just instantly cut. Like, we just don't have any patience for something that's not bringing something to the table. Now, sometimes, like Matt said, you're outvoted in something that you don't think is not funny, but you at least know that somebody in the room passionately believes in that joke enough to bully it through.
Kevin Shinnick, one of our writers, said it best. He's like, the room doesn't determine what's funny. The room determines what's funny for the show. Yeah. And like, you know, other people, like, again, you can use that stuff and it will work in other places. Of course, I mean, the biggest conversation we always have in the room is, this is funny, but it's not Robot Chicken. And which is, I don't know if it's praise or an insult, because when someone does that, you're really just slapping them down, saying, no, you're not getting your thing on the show. Sure. Which is never a good feeling.
But we do have the opportunity to do anything with our puppets, and our puppets are very colorful, fun to look at, and exciting. So there are just some sketches where you are wasting the opportunity if it's just a very mundane conversation or too boring, you know?
Yeah. And I guess in that way, this kind of writer's room setup must be perfect for you, if only because, you know, to do a long 45-minute album, a storytelling album, is being on the road for years and developing it, whereas for you want to be shot down and just move on, right?
Yeah,
I mean, that's, you kind of, do you get addicted to that a little bit, or do you want to do, something a little more long form?
Oh, I think everybody in that room wants to do long form and enjoys long form more. Yeah. I can say that genuinely. Everyone in that room, and I always laugh about it, is people come from all different walks of life from that room. They're not sketch people. They're not ADD in that way. Like, a bunch of people came from Wizard Magazine out with me, so we were journalists. Two of our guys, you know, Eric and Jordan, came from off-Broadway plays. I'm trying to think some other people. Hugh might be one of the only people. Hugh Davidson is a Groundlings person, so has that sketch background. Yeah. I'm trying to think other people who do long form versus short form, but you know, and then we've had people go off, like Jessica Gao just worked on Silicon Valley. You know, Dan Milano created Greg the Bunny. You know, it's just, again, like they're all over the place, these people, and again, you just mesh them together and you see how it all works out.
Of course.
Who did I leave out? I feel like I'm leaving out people.
Well, there's been a bunch
I
now
know.
At this point.
Shinnick ran the Mad Show, and yeah, it's just a great writer.
We had Mikey Day for a glorious 2 cycles.
And now he's on SNL. So maybe but he's also Groundling. He came from the sketch world.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's a little bit all over the place, but yeah, it's a good group.
Do you if sorry.
Oh, no worries. Oh, Mahar is a good example.
Write this down, 19 minutes.
Yeah. Mahar is another writer who worked on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and is just long form comedy.
So
writer.
I do think that there is a learning curve, you know, because I think you come in and you're everybody comes in and their first week they're writing too long. I think that
brutal.
happens with everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody comes in there writing at the pace that we do the show at.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's something that you kind of you figure out, you know, in the first couple of weeks that it needs to be the funny idea condensed down to its funniest beats and then get out of there.
Do you guys at all miss? Sometimes we get nostalgic on the show. Do you guys ever miss having physical albums or physical media of any kind? Because it was a very important, at least for me, growing up.
Only in the sense of collectability.
Yeah.
And it's that geek factor of me. Like, I like physical comic books. You know,
Sure.
I grew up with that. I like action figures. You know, as I'm getting older, I find I don't need them.
Of course.
You know, and like, you sit there, and I don't know if you're the same way, but like, I only buy graphic novels now. I don't buy comic books, you know, and it's a very specific type. Same thing with albums. It's like, I'll buy something on iTunes, and then, you know.
But that's what sucks, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But when it was an album, you would put it in your car, and maybe you get in your car and you drive, and for a couple weeks you'd be too lazy to change it.
Yes.
So just by the nature of it being in your car, you would become intimately aware of that album.
Yeah.
And now you get in your car and you say shuffle songs, and you shuffle it around. You hear a track from an album, or you never get that really. It never imprints itself on you like an album does. Where if you don't hear the second song come after the first song, something in your brain goes, hey, you know, because you think of the album as a whole.
Exactly.
And even when you'd make a mix CD, you would get used to that mix CD because it would be in your car for a month or 2 months instead of you just, you know, because everyone has thousands of songs on their iPod. So I think very rarely do you say, I'm going to listen to this album and put it on.
And you can't really, I mean, it doesn't look at it as an album. You'd have to record the thing as one long track and then be forced to.
Yeah.
You have to sort of, you have to make a time commitment, and I don't think people do that.
Yeah, and because that Sandler album, there was 3 months of my life where that's all I listened to when I was in the car. So I just knew it frontward and backward. You learn new things to love about it. You learn little nuances, and you feel like you know that. I feel like I knew Adam Sandler, or at least his humor, by the end of that.
I didn't realize you like him so much. We got to bring him on Robot Chicken, or at least ask him.
Oh, yeah.
We've
like
never
that,
asked.
and
we've never asked.
I think Happy Gilmore... I think Happy Gilmore was the most I've ever laughed in a theater when Carl Weathers pulls up his broken hand for the first time. That whole run, I was in heaven. I couldn't believe it. And I think a lot of the reasons why I imprinted on those movies so much is because I felt like I knew Adam Sandler because I knew his comedy so well. I knew what he thought was funny.
Well, it's kind of how, I mean, I think the modern version of that is the Lonely Island guys. I mean, you know, it's the same way. I mean, your obsession, and it's not a bad thing, your obsession with MacGruber and Hot Rod speak volumes also. You know, it's like, it's
a very idiosyncratic way of looking at the world, and it's you just feel like it imprints upon you, and you take from that.
Definitely. Which is, I imagine, harder as comedy writers, or maybe not. Is that, I mean, do you have any fear of, I mean, the thing is, what you're doing is you get to play with existing properties entirely. So, I mean, is there as much of a fear, or are you just...
Oh, yeah, we're ruining kids' childhoods. It's like, I mean, you worry. Like, if there's a sketch that flops with a big property, you know, it's you're destroying a memory of that property in some capacity. I mean, it was a big fear of mine when we started doing our Star Wars specials. Like, there was serious paranoia in some way that we were going to let people down. And then when we went to the second and even the third, it got even greater because there was even more awareness surrounding it. It's weird that I don't feel that way about our DC specials, but I think that's also because DC is Jeff Johns, who we grew up with and we know really well, and we have a friendship with him. Whereas with the Star Wars stuff, it's George Lucas, and you're paranoid that you do not want to let this, you know, quote unquote, master down. So it was a serious paranoia for me. I don't know if you felt the same way.
I just feel, you know, I know that there's sometimes when you do a sketch on Robot Chicken where you know that you're not going to be able... Robot Chicken will not do a second sketch on this character.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it is so... You know, we're not going to do another Bone Riders sketch, you know?
No.
Not that I wrote that sketch. But there's pressure sometimes when you think, everyone who remembers this property will get such a kick out of this.
Right.
You've got to, and this is your one shot, so you've got to make sure that you're doing those viewers justice, you know, that they'll see it and say, "Oh my God, I remember that," and "Oh my God, that's a fun, intelligent spin on that."
It's interesting. So you worry more about the small contingent of people that would know those very, random property.
Right.
Whereas I'm paranoid about the masses
the
who will
big
throw the
ones.
rocks
Right.
and hit us and
Right.
at the conventions and in public.
Exactly.
Okay. Good to know how you perceive these things.
Niche, baby.
Yeah.
You guys have like 30 minutes, right? Just so that I know. That's what they said.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
So, well, first, is there anything specific to promote right now about Robot Chicken? I want to make sure that we...
Robot Chicken, we're in our 7th season.
Mm-hmm.
When is this airing?
It can go up Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, this is,
It's
with
an
Robot
interesting
Chicken...
season because of all the specials that we're doing, and we started with the second Robot Chicken DC comic special, and then we have, well, I guess the season finale, which we always take a little extra.
Our season
care on.
finale this season is going to once again change the lore of our actual Robot Chicken, which rarely shows up in sketches, but we will do something with the Robot Chicken himself in the finale,
Awesome.
which is going to be hopefully epic. I've yet to see it cut together.
It's looking good.
That's what I keep
You'll
hearing.
see it right after
this. Yeah.
I'll take you in there and watch it.
And then we're actually doing a bitch pudding special. So that character, which was like a throwaway gag in like an early season, had just taken on a life of her own. It's like our humping robot or our nerd character. And so we're going to devote a full episode to bitch pudding.
And it's a long form story.
Yes.
Which I don't think we've ever done
That's
on
crazy.
Robot Chicken.
Like
To
with
this
an original
extent, to just
character?
say,
No.
This is a story. There are no channel flips. It is just a fun 11-minute story written by Tom Root, one of the head writers. I'm really excited about that. I think it's turning out great, and just let everybody stretch some different muscles.
Yeah. On a show that seems, on a show with such I hate to call it a strict format. It is kind of ballsy to have to do exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
That long with an original character on a show that's not.
Yeah,
that's
and I'm happy with how well it's working.
Yeah,
out,
and it's
too.
one of those things
awesome.
too where I always say something in animation, it's always tricky to see what's going to land, and there are always those stages where it'll hit, and that first one after it's written, it's that voice talent that brings something to the table. And
Sure.
Bitch Pudding only came alive when Katie Sackhoff recorded that thing, and again, you just don't know what you're going to get until it happens. I always point back to that gummy bear sketch that we did, and that gummy bear sketch was such a simple sketch, and when Michelle Trachtenberg recorded it, that long just terrible rant of hers of cursing because she's just got a potty mouth was spectacular. And again, that scream is unparalleled, and again, that it turned that character into an icon for our show.
Yeah, and that was a sketch that I hated when that was my first cycle working, and that was the first time I worked up some nerve to say, guys, I don't think this is funny. But yeah, when you never know.
She blew out the mic. Yeah,
exactly.
When she
And then you
that,
see it, and you're like, oh, that's what makes comedy so terrifying.
Yeah.
Is it's all subjective. You never know, and a lot of times I start out thinking I'm right about something, and I end up I'm dead wrong. Sometimes you think you're right and you were right, and it's.
We all have those sketches. Yeah, we all have those sketches. Again, I always come back to the origin of Starbucks sketch, which was I hated that sketch. I was adamantly against it. I voted against it. I saw it in animatic. I was like, this is going to be terrible. And when I saw the animated piece put together, it's one of my top 5.
That's awesome.
Hands down.
That's insane. Normally at the end of an episode, we would say, why would you listen to this album? So why don't you say why people should listen to Bill Cosby?
Why people should listen to Bill Cosby? Because you will feel like you know Bill Cosby by the end of that album, and you will have, he's just a consummate storyteller. You will know, if you study that album, if you can become intimately aware of that album, you will know how to tell a story.
See, that's awesome. That is something people don't actually normally bring up. They don't normally look at it in an intimate way. Normally, it's more just your intimate relationship with, hey, I listened to the album on my own, or I shared it with a bunch of friends. Fewer people ever talk about, no, I might be inside this guy's head.
Yeah, exactly. You get
awesome.
you take a little piece of them, and they affect how you look at the world or how you make fun of the world.
Of course.
If you're going to comedy, they affect what your skewed little bit of the comedy world is.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just point to, just because we saw him in the last year, we just went to Vegas and we saw Seinfeld live.
Yeah.
And he had such an art of starting out slow with it and the builds to the laughs. Sure. Like I that was the one thing I was tracking, was just like it was laughing, and then by the end, I honestly, that last run that he builds to of like 5 minutes, it was like hurting me of how much I was laughing. And you look around that audience at how he does, and it was just that pacing that he has, that he just knew where to hit it each time, because you have to catch your breath to be able to get the next one. Right. And you could tell he must have traveled for who knows how long to master that entire set that he did. Yeah. It was genuinely mind-boggling, because it's rare that I will go to some sort of stand-up show that will keep me laughing the whole way through. Of course. There are always those pauses or those moments where I'm like, this subject doesn't have it for me. Yeah. And it's fine, and you can check out for a brief moment. But yeah, like, he's unrivaled in any way for me.
Yeah, like jokes are jokes. They're kind of parlor tricks. They just they start one way and then they turn, or they surprise you. But when you have a funny perspective, then you can listen to the person, and they've honed their skill. You can just listen to them talk about anything for hours.
Yeah, I mean, the art of delivery is something Jerry Seinfeld, you cannot it doesn't matter if you don't like him. Yeah. And I'm half and half with him most of the time, but like you cannot deny the art of and the math of it.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. And the reason, again, it comes down to, well, the reason I like him is he's just talking about everyday things. And again, that's where all of the stuff that we do with Robot Chicken is, we like to give everyday things to these supernatural characters, these larger than life characters, and that's, people don't think of them that way. It all starts, and the thing that made Robot Chicken really pop in a way is that Emperor phone call, which was just a very simple scenario of the Emperor talking about his day, and then he gets a waiting call and just talking about what he wants for lunch. It's a very simple premise. You know, and then it was all about just the dialogue that he was adding into that, which I give Breckenmeyer a lot of credit for, because he just re-dialogued that entire thing, and it was a Doug Goldstein, Breckenmeyer collaboration. Awesome. To get us where we are.
It's not unlike Cosby's Noah sketch. I mean, you're dealing with a biblical character.
Should not be funny at all. No. Should not be funny. Has no right to be funny.
But it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's so simple. Well, thank you guys for doing this.
Yeah, no worries. No, thank you for having us.
Obviously, watch Robot Chicken.
You don't have to.
Okay. Well then.
I take that back. No, please. We need to get paid.
Where can everybody follow you guys?
Where can we be followed? Twitter, at WizMattS. Our actual Twitter handle for Robot Chicken is at CyborgTurkey.
That's a good one.
That's a good one. You?
I'm at Zeb Wells.
Easy enough.
And then, robotchicken.com is probably a great place. That's where a lot of our stuff for Adult Swim is. So you can see all the sketches and things like that there. And if you want to see the stuff that our company does as a whole, because we do more than just Robot Chicken, leagueofbuddies.com is a great place to just see all the animation that we've been doing beyond just Robot Chicken.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for doing this.
Oh, no. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for listening. And as always, have a good thing. Comedy on Vinyl is a production of Stolen Dress Entertainment. It is produced by Mike Warden and is hosted and edited by Jason Klamm. Our theme song was composed and performed by Richard Levinson. Please visit stolendress.com to listen to our other podcasts, read our blogs, read our tweets, watch our videos, and read our books. Please subscribe on iTunes, and if you like us, give us a 5-star rating and a nice review. You can find us on facebook.com/comedyonvinyl, Twitter @comedyonvinyl, and find everything else at comedyonvinyl.com.